Hi guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be touching up on on a duty that should be, and sometimes it's not really practiced, and that's customer service. And customer service relating to working at any port, interacting with any kind of public, and attending to needs of actual business down at ports. It's still a place of business. It's not just a place of catching loads and catching illegals. And no, it's still actual. It's still like a trade. It's still an import export. Uh, there are southbound teams that actually conduct business also on behalf of the Department of Treasury. And along that, once in a while, you tend to forget that you're actually there to be customer service. Although it's customer service with a gun, that helps out to influence a situation. But businessmen, companies still have to conduct business through there, and especially in Otay and Tijuana, there are what you would call maquiladoras, and the healthcare business is actually pretty involved in actually employing Tijuana residents at their maquiladoras, which is basically a manufacturing plant, and they generate a lot of equipment that's used by hospitals. Also, a lot of soft goods, cushions, any kind of protection for your through medical procedures or any kind of ailments, and you need some kind of prosthetic or something. Most likely, it will come out of Otai. And on that same, on that actual same business, you have southbound tankers that actually supply a lot of the plastics for such maquiladoras in the form of like little tiny little BBs, and then they just deliver them and they'll melt it and they'll mold it to their actual needs of what they're producing. And it's a well system, working system. And the problem is that just sometimes in between there's a load or two or something of some kind of contraband. But the majority of them do actually honor, and they do respect the laws. And for somebody to export, like for example, you and I, we would go down there and we would buy something that's actually worth selling over here in the U.S. and you would go down there and purchase it. It'd be much easier if you would go through an import and export company because they know the ins and outs and they can take care of all the logistics for you. They can actually verify, they can actually approve your actual import because sometimes not everything you can import or not everything you can export, depending on the trade agreements, depending on the laws that are established by both countries. And there are a lot of treaties and there are a lot of trade laws, and you just have to know it. So it would be much easier if you'd go through an import company. But sometimes import companies get infiltrated and sometimes they can manipulate a certain load by tucking in anywhere in your actual shipment some contraband. And unfortunately, that load, if it gets caught with any kind of legit import, it will get confiscated. And now the importer is going to have to fight for you to get your shipment back. So it's better. It's good business to actually just stay on the up and up if you're an import company. But I'm not saying it's not get infiltrated by actual smugglers. And also, when people are traveling back, sometimes they have special needs regarding some kind of special visa. They forget their visa in their hotel rooms if they're tourists. And you just have to deal with that situation. There is an answer for all that, and someone can bring it to you, but it's just going to be time consuming for the actual tourist or the actual U.S. citizen that left their credentials or their identifications at home or in their car, or they actually lose it in their tourist destination. So there are ways around that for U.S. citizens, but it's going to be very expensive. And I'm not saying $1,000. It used to be like in the hundreds, but if you just came off a trip, you spend money there, probably a little bit more than you thought you were going to spend, and now you're going to have to pay another fine to actually produce some kind of, proof that you are who you are. And don't get me wrong, you will not. A U.S. citizen cannot be denied entry into any U.S. territory. But there are some criteria. If you don't have any way to identify yourself, well, guess what? You're going to be actually spending some money. Not unless you can have somebody bring it to you within a certain amount of time. They're not going to wait for you for a day or two. It has to be done in a timely manner, and you have to have proof that they're actually bringing it to you. Also, if you have an expired passport, you're better off not even showing it and showing your birth certificate along with your credentials. And have them not show it, but you actually would have to. Let me reframe that. Bring your passport, bring your identification from your state, and then bring your birth certificate if it's expired, I should say. And they'll also take what they produced. Instead of having people carry their passports back and forth every day, they can get pretty beat up if you use it on a daily basis. So you try to preserve your passport for the important trips, but there are crossing cards for U.S. citizens. You can apply for one. They're a little bit less expensive than the passport, but there are a few of them that are available. And apparently, California is coming out with a real identification card. I guess our driver license or our California IDs aren't good enough anymore, and they want to produce a real one. I think that's how they call it, a certified ID, just to make money, and just to double dip on everything. That's what the DMV is for, right? Double dipping on everybody's registration, everybody's bill of sale for vehicles. Double dipping. I don't know how that's even legally, but that's how they roll. Well, we can't complain because we have decent roads at least, and some part of our highways. And also, they also have a what you would call a Sentry entrance, and that's when your vehicle is actually registered and your background is ran through the federal system, and you can actually get access to the border much easier. If you travel a lot down there, it's worth having your actual your Sentry, because you time wise and gasoline wise and just mental wise, you'll cross faster and much easier to get across the border. You will, once in a while, the computer will pull you over once in a while, and you'll actually be searched, but hey, get it over with, right? Also, if you're going to see any kind of medical doctor in Mexico, dentists, including dentists, the actual office can provide a document along with a stamp that gives you access to one lane at that port. And you have to be very, very knowledgeable of where you're going, because there's only one entrance into that actual lane. And You get to the actual lane. To get to that lane, you gotta follow perfect instructions. You get there. There's gonna be a barricade. There's gonna be a Mexican official greeting you at that barrier. You hand over your medical doctor's document that's stamped by the doctor's office. You hand it over. They keep it. I mean, it's for free. And then you just continue north into that lane, and if that lane is secure, nobody can get in, nobody can get out, and you go straight. If there's traffic, well, it's not that bad. It's better than waiting the 4 or 6 hours sometimes. You get there, and you don't have to be ready, but it helps out to have some kind of document with to cross, like the passport card, the card, or your actual passport. But you don't have to. You can have an ID and your birth certificate. It helps out a lot, and you go on your way. And also on that same actual line for the doctor's office, if you're a tourist and you go down and you're actually stayed in some type of resort, hotel, or any kind of uh, lodging place, they can also produce you a traveling document, just like the doctors, and the same thing for all the perfect instructions how to get to that lane. You get there, the Mexican official receives your document and sends you on your way. That helps out a lot during the week. On the weekends, you can imagine everybody's going to use that lane, so just kind of get a feel for it and ask around. Ask around when's a good day when's the easiest day to pass, just to save yourself some time. Sometimes it's easier to wait. It's better to wait out in somewhere and just enjoying yourself in a resort or in a hotel or in a restaurant than spending the hours on the actual duration of the line. And when it eases up, just hop on and you get where you're going. But remember, these ready lanes, that's another one too. These ready lanes are there for your convenience, but again, for the inspector's convenience. This means you have a passport, you got any kind of travel document from the federal government on the U.S. side or wherever country you're from. You have to have some kind of document to cross. So don't forget your documents if you're staying in San Diego and you're going to go down just for sightseeing in Mexico. You have to carry your documents and be careful where you store them, because it will convert into a bar of gold in the wrong hands. Just be aware. So if you plan to go through the ready lanes, that's what they're called. You have to have some kind of passport, some kind of ID that can be used as almost like a passport, a document. And if you go through the bus lane, same thing. It's easier for you to have some kind of passport, and it just makes the traffic flow much easier. It's easier, and at the end of the day, it is a customer service entity, but along with that, there also has to be some type of security for any kind of port. And that's just a little bit informative on the basics on the procedure of actually going down there. Oh, actually, I forget. Down south, when you're traveling down south in a type of shuttle, any type of commercial vessel, which would be a bus, a shuttle, a taxi, a party bus, some kind of anything that can be related to a commercial entrance, that meaning that tourists, you go down there for a couple hours to a winery and you're actually in some kind of shuttle, you need to have a passport. Mexican officials are going to be asking everyone for a passport. I don't know if the actual passports, the cards work, but Mexican officials are going to be required for you to have a passport if you're coming in through a tourist visit. All right, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. Talk to you guys later.